Did you know that men's testosterone levels have plunged by 25% in just the last 2 decades? This isn't a typo or a random blip, it's a generational freefall. For a man who's 45 today, he has less testosterone than his grandfather did at 80. So testosterone is more than just about libido, muscles, and all the sexy bit. It's about energy, motivation, metabolic health, and long-term health. Today, we're uncovering 7 everyday habits that are secretly destroying your testosterone levels. So stick around, because by the end, you'll know exactly how to turn the tide and naturally reclaim your vitality. So habit number 1, and I think a lot of us do this, is poor sleep. Essentially, you're burning the midnight oils. You might think that you can get by on just 5 hours of sleep, but chronic sleep deprivation is a testosterone killer. In one study, healthy young men who slept only 5 hours a night for a week, that's just 5 hours per night for 7 days, had 10 to 15% lower daytime testosterone levels. So that's equivalent to suddenly aging about 10 to 15 years. Poor sleep messes with your hormone production, and testosterone is primarily produced during deep sleep early in the morning, and that's also why you get your morning erections. If you're skimping on sleep, you're robbing your body of this nightly testosterone surge. Now, low testosterone from a lack of rest can leave you feeling weak, irritable, and less motivated. So what do you do about it? What's the solution? Try to prioritize 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night. Set a consistent bedtime and make your bedroom cool and dark, preferably quiet. I wear headphones to sleep, the Bose headphones with noise cancelling, and I listen to special music to keep me in the right deep sleep rhythm. You want to avoid late night screens. I wear blue blocking glasses, and you try to treat sleep as a non-negotiable recovery time to improve your body, to improve your hormonal health, and because it depends on it if you want to maintain good, strong testosterone levels. Now, consider having a wind down routine, a relaxing routine, reading, meditation. If you do watch telly, you might want to wear blue blocking glasses, or start wearing those when the sun goes down, or at least maybe after you've had dinner, depending on when you've had dinner. And by doing this, you can help reduce the cortisol, which should be lower at the end of the day anyway because of the diurnal rhythm. But having a lower cortisol will also help you maximize your testosterone levels overnight. By making sleep a priority, you'll wake up with a higher level of testosterone, better mood, and more drive to tackle the day. Okay, so what's the second habit that we do that leads to poor testosterone? Habit number 2 is what you eat directly impacts your testosterone. A diet high in processed foods, sugary snacks, and seed oils like soybean or canola oil can tank your T. Why? These foods promote weight gain and inflammation, which in turn lower testosterone. Excess body fat boosts an enzyme called aromatase. I don't know if you've heard of aromatase, but aromatase can convert testosterone into estradiol, or estrogen, the primary female hormone. Now, this isn't a bad thing, actually. We want to have estradiol, we want to have estrogen, but if you have a lot of belly fat, if you're quite inflamed, if you have metabolic disease and disorder, it's this ratio, this negative ratio between testosterone and estradiol that may make you a bit more symptomatic and isn't probably ideal. So you want to be able to raise your testosterone, you want to be able to reduce any sort of metabolic burden that you have. So you just don't want to eat rubbish food that's going to inflame the body. One of the issues with having a high amount of body fat and the worry about the estradiol, the estrogen, is not the estrogen itself, because that can be cardioprotective. It's the fact that the elevations of estradiol or estrogen can then convert or can block your production of testosterone. And so that's kind of the worry. You want everything in balance. You want the pituitary axis to work like it should. So avoiding, seed oils and trans fats as well, like found in margarine, or other packaged snacks, are ideal because these can also lower your testosterone levels. And the whole thing is a recipe for hormonal disaster. So again, what should you do? What should you eat? You should fuel your body with testosterone-friendly nutrition. You should try to swap out the drive-through burger, or at least minimize how often you have it, for lean, healthy proteins. Chicken, fish, and beef is fine, actually. I usually have grass-fed steak. They usually buy at Lidl 3, 4 to 5 times a week sometimes, along with chicken and sometimes lamb. So chicken, fish, eggs, lean beef, preferably a grass-fed sauce, plenty of veg and healthy fats like olive oil and avocados and nuts are all part of a good balanced diet. But you should look at cutting back on refined carbs, excessive sugars. I mean, I put a little bit of raspberry jam on my toast in the morning, just a small bit, because I'm trying to avoid excessive sugars, and I try not to have a big insulin spike. And with that insulin spike, you risk weight gain, and that can hurt your T. Now, I'm on testosterone replacement therapy, but if you're not on testosterone replacement therapy, it's even more important. But even being on testosterone replacement therapy, I'm trying not to create a body of inflammation, and I'm trying not to create insulin resistance, so I try to lower my carb intake, especially refined sugars. So what should you do? You should focus on whole foods rich in zinc and vitamin D. Like I said earlier, beef, shellfish, fatty fish, all those types of fish and foods that support your hormone production. So again, for breakfast, I might have a tin of sardines. There's a good source of omega-3s. So don't fear dietary fat, but look at the source and the quality of the fat that you're getting. And a balanced diet should help reduce excess body fat and give your body the nutrients it needs so you can really crank up your testosterone production. Now, a fast-paced lifestyle often leads to quick fixes like fast food. I mean, if you're traveling a lot for work, there aren't a lot of choices at the airport or in the train station. You tend to grab what looks nice, and it's just a quick fix. So diets high in processed ingredients, seed oils, studies show have been linked to decreased testosterone levels. So try to prioritize. I know it's not easy, not preaching, but try to prioritize whole, nutrient-dense foods to help fuel healthy hormone production. So habit number 3, plastic overload and the wrath of endocrine disruptors. The plastic water bottle in your hand, or that you have, or that you're desperate for because you need some water, and it only comes in plastic. Even the receipt from the store that you touch could be leaking chemicals that sabotage your testosterone. Now, BPA, bisphenol A, and phthalates are common chemicals found in plastics, water bottles, food containers, and the lining of cans. I mean, even in the water itself can be bits of microplastics which they're finding inside our own bodies. These BPA products, even the plastic itself, can contribute to endocrine disruptors, in particular the BPA and the phthalates. These types of chemicals, they mimic or they really interfere with the way your hormones work in the body. For example, BPA is an anti-androgen, so it not only is acting like an estrogen, but it's also blocking your androgens, and that can affect the testosterone in your body, and it can also affect how your receptors are receiving the testosterone, because it could be blocking your testosterone androgen receptors. Phthalates are used because they soften the plastic, but they've been shown to inhibit testosterone production in animals and are linked to reduced sperm quality in humans. So there is a link there between sperm and testosterone levels. So basically, chronic exposure to these chemicals, whilst it's very small, but the chronic continuing overload of these chemicals is like throwing a wet blanket on your endocrine system, and it's not going to work as you want, and it's not going to give you the optimal testosterone levels. In fact, over time, it'll contribute to lower T levels and other hormonal imbalances. So what's the solution? I mean, it's really hard because we're inundated with these plastics. Well, do the best you can to try to detox your own daily environment. You try to swap plastic food containers for glass or stainless steel. Now, I've got a stainless steel water bottle, and I also have my food in glass containers. When I'm heating it, there is a plastic lid on it, but I remove the lid and I might put a paper towel over it. If I do microwave it, what you'd never want to do is microwave your meals that are in a plastic container. So if you do have to use a plastic container, do not expose that to a lot of heat, because that's where it leaches out some of the BPA and the phthalates, and that will then leach into your food. So what about water? How do you drink water safely. So you should opt for reusable water bottles instead of single-use plastic bottles. I mean, easier said than done, because you have to remember to bring this with you wherever you go and then fill it up, and you hope that the water is filtered so you're not getting microplastics from the water source itself. But generally, if you have a bottle that you reuse, be careful though, make sure you sterilize it with hot boiling water to kill any microbes, because if you keep reusing this without, forget the BPA and lowering your testosterone, you may get poorly from ingesting all sorts of bacteria if you haven't washed it up. But when you do look for BPA products, make sure there is no labels or plastic throughout. These tweaks may help reduce your exposure to hormone-harming chemicals, and over time, a cleaner environment, one that you create for yourself the best that you can, should mean a healthier hormone balance, letting your testosterone do its job without chemical interference. And it's not just testosterone, it could also be other hormones that are affected as well with all these endocrine disrupting hormones. Habit number 4, and again, easier said than done, but is trying to avoid chronic stress or cortisol overdrives. Modern life is stressful. We're all juggling deadlines, finances, family issues, you name it. But living in a constant state of stress is crushing your testosterone, your mood, and everything else. When you're stressed all the time, your body pumps out cortisol, the stress hormone, and cortisol over long periods basically tells your body it's in survival mode, not thrive mode. And cortisol and testosterone can have an inverse relationship. I mean, cortisol, it stays elevated, testosterone production usually gets dialed down. Not to mention, cortisol may contribute to muscle mass breakdown, where testosterone has a more of an anabolic effect. And research shows that chronic stress doesn't just lower testosterone production, it can also interfere with testosterone's effectiveness by blocking its receptors. And the result, even the testosterone you do have may not be working optimally. So you might notice low energy, a weakened libido, and difficulty in gaining muscle, partly because cortisol is constantly throwing a spanner in your hormonal gears. So what to do about it? What's the solution? It's time to master your stress before it masters you. Start with small daily habits. Take 5 to 10 minutes for deep breathing exercises or mindfulness. I think one of the exercises I do is you close your eyes, try to squeeze some of your core muscles, inhale, hold it, and then exhale. But whatever technique that you use can be very helpful for trying to minimize some of the stress. If you're into meditation, that can also be quite helpful to calm your nervous system, and try to incorporate physical activity. Even walking more can help reduce that stress. And exercise, really good exercise like intermittent cardio and weight training, and a combination of both, have been shown to boost testosterone, not to mention reduce anxiety and maybe even ward off depression. So try to set boundaries between your work, your personal time, to avoid your burnout, and avoid things, and we're all guilty of it, checking work emails before you go to bed, because that can upset you, whatever you read, or any kind of messages. So having that routine before bed can really help. Having hobbies or activities that you enjoy that can relax you is also another good technique, or listening to music that can calm you. Some people do journaling, or spending time outdoors. These all can help lower your chronic stress levels and allowing your testosterone to rebound naturally. So anyway, the payoff is huge. And even if you are on testosterone treatment, these sorts of things like meditation, avoiding stress, are still very, very important. And it's a great way to kind of help balance your hormones and not be handcuffed by stresses. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button and subscribe for more content on hormones and men and women's health. And until next time, take control of your body and your health.